Hi, Dr. Patrick Gentempo here, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. We have great content in store for you. I'm so excited to be here with you, and let's jump right into it.
So, Adam,
Yes.
thank you for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure.
I've been looking forward to this. A little bit of a disclaimer. We met close to a year ago. We interviewed you. I was blown away. So I'm actually a customer of yours, and so there's a disclosure piece.
You are, yes.
So I fall in the category of true believer. I'm really excited to let you share your info. I kind of want to start with your book. This was really interesting to me. You were publishing a book. It was on schedule before the COVID hit, and really predicted everything that's happening anyway. And so, as opposed to having to go back and change your book, is more like you went back and added some editorials. And it's with kindness. It's kind of like, see, I told you so. Not only is it that, it's even worse. Let's go back to what got you interested in the topic that you wrote your book about. Tell me how you came to this.
Okay, great. So I was not in the financial services business 7 years ago. I was actually in the entertainment business, and had some big things that happened over there. A big deal with Stan Lee, the superhero writer, Marvel Comics. Deal with the NFL and then the NHL. Then that kind of all went sideways, and I found myself unemployed with no real talent because I was in the movie business, and I needed a job. And I had a friend who had a job at a gold company. And I asked him if he could get me a job. And on the first day, I got hired, and I got a script. It was a one-page script, and said, "Here, go sell gold." And I was, freaked out. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea, it was physical gold inside of qualified accounts, IRAs. I didn't know what an IRA really was. And I decided if I was going to try and sell people on something, I better, number one, believe in it, and number two, really understand as much as I could about it. And that journey really led me to this story that I just became, incredibly attracted to and overwhelmed by, because it's a big story. And the more I got into it, the more I realized this is the story I'm supposed to tell. This is the story that people need to hear, because it's one that most people don't get. So I started writing content for our clients, for gold. The transition happened where I became so passionate about gold, I became one of the top gold salespeople at the firm. And I didn't really like the way gold was marketed. Gold is marketed with this, fear-based, doomsday kind of thing, and it's what sells. It's what it's where gold is marketed. But I don't see gold in that way. In fact, what I was learning was a completely different story than that, and that's what I was talking to people I was talking about. And I sat down with my friend, who was also an excellent salesman and also really had the same kind of belief system, and said, "Look, I think we can do this better. I think we can do this better for the client with better education," and we decided to form our own firm. And that was in 2014. We started with 2 employees, and through that process began me writing to try and point people to the things that I was seeing that were so that I didn't think people got that publicized enough. There was a Wall Street model. That Wall Street model is one that most of us follow blindly. And because I wasn't from the industry, because I wasn't someone who, came up in that, and I should have been. I was supposed to do my JD MBA at Wharton and Penn out of college, and told my dad I'm going to go to LA and be in the movie business. So I had, friends, family that are lawyers and, financial advisors and hedge fund managers. And so I'm very familiar with that kind of training and upbringing. And I think because I came to it from the outside, just looking at this story, it really was something that I thought people needed to hear. So that culminated in the first book, which was Gold is a Better Way and Other Secrets Wall Street Doesn't Want You to Know. And the big conclusion, I guess, of that book was that the equity markets are really fueled by the Federal Reserve. At the time, the Federal Reserve was promising that they were going to raise rates. They were going to normalize. We had 7 years of 0% interest rates, and now we're going to start raising them. And they were also going to start taking money off the balance sheet. And that was happening.
So hold on right there, because what does it mean for the Fed to take money off of the balance sheet?
Great question. So what the Federal Reserve does, they control the money supply. That's their job, okay? And the balance sheet is the way they measure the money supply, the way they measure, how much money has been created by the Fed. And what the Federal Reserve holds on the balance sheet is actually paramount to some of the things we probably want to talk about. But that's what the Fed does, is they control the money supply. And when they lower rates and add to the balance sheet, it's called monetary easing, okay? And when they raise rates and take money off the balance sheet, it's called monetary tightening. And the premise was markets aren't higher because of growth. Markets are higher because of debt. And that debt has been fueled by low rates, by monetary ease. And so we are in a Fed bubble. And when the Federal Reserve raises rates, the bubble's going to pop. They're going to collapse the stock market. And that's exactly what happened. And it coincided with the first book, pub date. It was published on August 14th. And in Q4, the stock market dropped 19%. Bonds dropped dramatically as the Fed tightened and took money off the balance sheet.
What year was this?
This is 2018. Yeah, this is the fourth quarter of 2018, and it's what began Donald Trump, attacking the Federal Reserve on a daily basis, because he had been promoting the stock market every day as this is, it became his calling card. And my producer and I did a documentary on the thing. We actually won a Telly Award for it. Well, funny story, 25 years in the entertainment business, I never got an award, and here I am, just a couple years into this business, and I
finally get awarded for your talent.
Yeah, I got like this, and so, but Donald Trump was attacking the Fed for that very reason. Is these policies are headwinds for financial assets. So the first book was published at the same time this is happening, and it made me look like I had some sort of crystal ball. But it really wasn't that difficult to, see if it's what you're looking at. And what I track and what I show in the first book is that the Federal Reserve balance sheet and the stock market since 2008 have literally gone hand in glove. And so if the balance sheet goes down, it's pretty good expectations that the stock market would go down. And so when the Fed pivoted, when they stopped raising rates and when they stopped taking money off the balance sheet, I was right on top of it because this is what they promised everyone they were going to do. And the conclusion of that book was they're going to, collapse the markets, but they pivoted very quickly. And I think Donald Trump had a very big hand in that pivot because of his pressure. And then what happened is then they not only started cutting rates, then they started secretly adding to the balance sheet back. Something that they, has been called not QE, and the balance sheet, starting in August of 2019, started going up $50 billion a month. So for those reasons, I'm looking at the balance sheet saying, okay, I can look at financial assets through what the Fed does to the balance sheet, and that led to the Great Devaluation.
Thanks so much for being here and watching that video. And can I ask you to please subscribe to our channel so you can find out when we're posting new content. You'll be alerted right away when we do. To share this with people you think might benefit from the information, and certainly it helps us if you like the video. So if you like what you just saw, go ahead and hit that like button. And again, thank you so much for being here with me right now.